Hello again, everyone. In my synagogue remarks last Sabbath morning, I spoke about the Seder paragraph, Vihi she'amda. We praise God for delivering the Jewish people in every generation from our diabolical enemies. I argued that while the paragraph's theme suggests pure gratitude, there is a subtle, read between the lines, exhortation beyond the words. Here is what I mean. Moments before reciting Vihisha Amda, we read about the four children. The second child, referred to as the evil or contrary child, is more accurately depicted as the estranged child. This child remains distant from the Jewish community and dismissive of Jewish faith. The Seder's response to that child is candid and harsh. Permanent estrangement from the Jewish people means exclusion from the grandeur of our tradition. After the four children, we tell how our ancestors spiritually rejected their Jewish faith by embracing pagan traditions. It is then, following the four children and following the message about our spiritual limitations, that we read the Vihi She'amda, expressing gratitude to God for delivering us always. From those prior Seder themes, we may infer that deliverance in every generation applies to those who publicly identify as Jews. Those who distance themselves or deny their roots do not partake of the celebrations or of the unfolding experiences enjoyed by Am Yisrael. I do admit to reading into the text such an admonishment, but considering the themes which precede Vihisha Amda during our Seder, I believe that left unsaid is the idea that if you want to reap the benefits of being part of the Jewish people, you need to publicly identify with the Jewish people and not with the estranged Jewish child, nor with those who deny the fundamental tenets of Jewish faith. Passover's supreme call for Jewish identification extends to the special Haftorah, the reading from the prophets that we chant this upcoming Sabbath, a Sabbath we refer to as Shabbat Hagadol, the great or awesome Sabbath. Shabbat Hagadol is a designation for the Sabbath prior to Passover. The word Gadol, great, appears at the end of Saturday's Haftorah reading from the prophet Malachi. Lo, I will send the prophet Elijah to you before the coming of the great and awesome day of God. What does this mean? Our Seders generally include the welcoming of Elijah, whom we regard as harbinger of a messianic age of peace, when Jews will no longer endure assaults on Israel, nor episodes of anti-Semitism throughout the globe. It is appropriate, therefore, to read on the Sabbath before Passover words envisioning the reappearance of Elijah and an age of ultimate tranquility. Yet following the mentioning of Elijah the prophet in the Haftorah, there is a second vision. Parents will be reconciled with children, and children will be reconciled with parents. Now, I understand that the Haftorah probably suggests a more global multi-generational vision. However, I think we can understand the Haftorah's message on a more visceral level. One of the most brilliant insights throughout the Passover Haggadah is to inspire children to ask questions and for their parents to respond. Regrettably, serious Jewish dialogue between parent and child is often sporadic. Even for parents who provide some type of limited Jewish education for their children, that learning is generally restricted to a school environment and between teacher and student. Jewish dialogue at home is sadly limited. Passover urges serious, ongoing Jewish dialogue between parent and child, and therefore the Haftorah's vision is most timely. We hope that Passover marks the beginning of an era when parents and children together identify as Jews beyond the limited parameters of a synagogue's Jewish education and beyond the few Jewish events and holidays we observe during the year. On Passover, we embrace Judaism as central to our lives, to identify as Jews by virtue of how we live, how we celebrate, how we actively identify with the local and global Jewish communities, and how we passionately support the State of Israel. To sit down at a Seder and to unattentively rush through the Haggadah, to arrive at the meal, defeats the purpose of Passover and denies any possibility of realizing the vision expressed in the Haftorah reading from the prophet Malachi. For Elijah's presence to have any meaning, we need to identify as Jews who embrace our faith and our people with conviction, while simultaneously standing up vocally to all forms of anti-Semitism and ongoing Jewish hatred. I hope that our Passover will inspire a renewed era of parent-child Jewish conversation, that it will awaken and reawaken Jewish identification among the many who are estranged, and will spark an unprecedented unity among Jews to combat anti-Jewish animosity in our communities and throughout our college campuses, and will reaffirm our commitment to the State of Israel in its existential wars against Iran and the terrorist organizations Iran supports and supplies. And so, in light of this year's bittersweet Passover celebrations, instead of wishing you Chag Sameach, happy holiday, I will offer all of us wishes for Besorot Tovot, good and peaceful times for Israel and for the Jewish people in both the immediate and long-term future. Shabbat Shalom, Am Yisrael Chai.